I can't tell if it's straight, to be completely honest with you. So you might have to deal with it if it's crooked. This wall, she's super bare. I need to work on that soon. She's gonna be this empty for a while. Hi guys, if you don't know me, my name is Sierra, and obviously this is my YouTube channel. For today's video, I just kind of wanted to film like an introduction video, I guess, kind of letting you guys get to know me more. Pretty much, I just started posting videos, no like explanation as to who I was. I was just like, hey guys, today I'm cleaning my house and today I'm doing a day in my life. I figured I needed kind of like an introduction video, letting you guys get to know me. Here we are, 2 videos, too late, I think, but you know what, better late than never. My boyfriend helped me make a list of like questions to answer in this video, so that's kind of what I'm gonna be going by. I will say that the list is kind of probably like boring questions that nobody like wants or needs to know. I did not realize how many times I said like in this video. So I'll let you guys do it. You guys should count how many times I say like, and you can make it a game or something, or just comment down below how many times I say it, because so far in the first minute, I think I've said it like 5 times. I look terrible. I look terrible. I kind of look like a man with long hair. Thank you. I mean, otherwise it would just kind of be me saying, hey guys, my name's Sierra. This is my YouTube channel, and that's it. Anyways, I'm rambling. So let's get into the questions. I do just want to add before I like start answering all of these questions, if you guys have like any other questions about me or just like whatever, my life in general, that you guys might want to know, just comment them down below and maybe I can make another video responding to them. I'm gonna get into the questions now. I feel like the questions also, I probably could have formatted them better, like put them in a better order, but I kind of just was like word vomiting questions. I kind of like picked out the best ones pretty much. So if it's a little chaotic, that's why. By no means are they unique questions or anything. They're pretty like basic questions. I didn't think we needed to get like too deep. Eventually, I think over time, you guys will get to know me more. I just wanted to start with some basic questions just for now. Like I said, if you guys want to know anything more, then just comment down below and I'll probably end up making another video down the road. So the first question that I have is, how many siblings do you have? So I have 2 half brothers and then 1 twin sister. I mean, I could elaborate more, but I don't really know, like there's not much else to say. So this might honestly end up being a pretty short video, but sometimes it's a little bit more refreshing to have a shorter video compared to the almost 30-minute videos both my other videos have been. Sometimes it's better to have somewhat of a shorter video. I just don't want it to be like too short, you know? The next question I have is, where are you from? I was born in Vermont. It's this little town called Springfield, Vermont. I feel like that's safe to say now because I'm not living there anymore. I'm actually quite far away from there. Nothing exciting really went on in that town. Don't know how we ended up in that really small town. My grandmother lived, I'd say maybe like an hour from us, give or take. So my dad moved there because my grandma lived there. He was born in New Mexico, but he lived in California for multiple years. Honestly, I don't know when he moved. My grandmother moved to New Hampshire, so my dad ended up moving to Vermont. He lived in New Hampshire, but then he moved to Vermont. This is me rambling. I'm really bad at telling stories, but anyways, my dad ended up moving to New Hampshire, and then we grew up in Vermont. We lived there for 18 years, and then he wanted to kind of move back to this area because we were renovating someone's house here in this area, and he was like, wow, I really like it there. So he waited for us to graduate, and then like a couple months after we graduated, we moved here, and I didn't want to stay there. I ended up moving with him. My sister didn't move down until a year later, so now the 3 of us are together. My mom and my brothers are still back in New Hampshire. My next question is, how old are you? I'm 21, but it's June currently, and my birthday is at the end of this month, so I'm about to be 22. Next question is, what hobbies do you have? I don't feel like I have a whole lot of hobbies, but I'm kind of gaining more hobbies currently. I guess one of my hobbies would be just hanging out with my cat because he's very needy. So sometimes I just have to sit with him because he's just very needy and he won't leave you alone until you hang out with him. That makes me sound like a loser a little bit. And then pretty much like my biggest hobby that I have is making YouTube videos, just because it's something that that even if I stop kind of doing it for a little bit, even a couple years, I always get back into it at this point, because I used to make YouTube videos in like middle school, high school, and then I kind of stopped for multiple years, and here I am starting to make YouTube videos again. I hadn't made YouTube videos in maybe 6 years, and within like the last maybe year, but like especially the last few months, it's been like a thought that's been in the back of my mind that I'm like, oh, I honestly really want to make YouTube videos again. It's just something that's kind of been right there. It's been a really big hobby of mine. And then I'd say some other little hobbies of mine would be, I like playing with slime. I like buying slime and playing with slime. Honestly, I haven't done that in months either, but it's one of those things like YouTube, not quite as like big to the extent, but it's one of those things that I will pick up and just want to do again. So I haven't done it in a while right now. I'll definitely pick it up and start playing with slime again. The only other like hobby that I can really think of is I like coloring a lot, but it's also one of those things that I don't do super often, because I'll sit there and I will color all day. I'll just be hunched over, just coloring. And I'm like, if I start a picture, then I have to finish it. And the way that I color, it takes at least all day, maybe into 2 days, just depending on like what the pictures look like, what the pictures are. So sometimes it takes me days to color a picture, because I do the thing where like you outline it and then you color it. And I have the Stranger Things coloring books, and so it's like really detailed, and so it takes forever. I guess I'd say those are kind of my few hobbies that I do specifically all the time, or like those are kind of the hobbies that I stick with and do, I'd say, off and on all the time. The next question on my list is favorite places you've been to. So I haven't been to that many places, but I'd say that my favorite place that I've been to currently, just based off of like kind of more or less what I can remember, because a lot of the trips were like when I was a kid. So I've been to Florida off the top of my head. We went to Disney World. That was like when we were like 13. We spent, I think, like a week down there. I think it was right before our birthday. So we were like 12 turning 13. And then the only other like big trip that I can remember was we were, I think, even younger. It was us going to Hershey, Pennsylvania. Honestly, I just don't have any memories of that because I was so young, and I hardly have any of Disney World either. I feel like those would be really big core memories. If I wasn't so young, I'd probably remember. But so like being in my adult life, I think a really big trip is a lot of the time we go to Vegas, because we live decently close to Vegas. So we go to Vegas like all the time. But one to where like we actually, sorry, that's my air kicking on. One of like the biggest trips that I feel like I can remember, and also just kind of like it's a bigger trip in my adult life, is when me and my boyfriend went to Philly last year. Literally, it was such like a spontaneous and quickly planned trip, because I asked him like 2 weeks before our trip. I was like, so if we went to Philly, what game would you want to see? Because he's a big like Philadelphia sports team fan. And so I asked him, I was like, so if we went to an Eagles game, what would be the one that you wanted to go to? He didn't necessarily want to go to the game we went to. Like that wouldn't have been his first choice. It was such a spontaneous trip. We planned it and we went 2 weeks later. Plus, just because with our jobs, it's hard to go during the holidays close to Thanksgiving. That one wasn't going to work out for us. We ended up going to the Vikings game, and it was a home opener, and it was just, honestly, it was such an amazing experience. For someone that's not like a football fan, it was honestly such like a cool thing to go to. The reason I say I'm not a football fan is because I don't understand what's going on. I try to ask questions and he tries to explain. I still don't understand. So that's the reason why I say he's the fan. Honestly, currently, as of right now, Philly is like my favorite place that I've been to. And we're actually going back in about pretty much like 5 months. So I really want to vlog that. And we're there for a lot longer this time than we were last time. We were only really there for like 3 days. I don't know how I somehow managed to completely neglect mentioning the fact that we went to Baltimore. I just think that I had all the other trips in my head that I think I might have talked about it in other videos. There's not like much to say because it was also one of those trips that we were only there for like 3 days. Obviously, I'm not saying that it wasn't a good and nice trip. And then we spent the like 2-3 days with our cousin and then my aunt. So we just spent the time with our aunt and our cousin. Overall, it was just a nice trip. We didn't have a lot of time there, so we didn't get to do much. Realistically, that's all I would would have said anyways. Like I said, I don't know how I neglected to talk about it in general. My next question is, do you have any pets? We have one cat. His name is Mr. Mittens. He's honestly quite an asshole, but we love him. We love him either way. Honestly, we were kind of planning on getting a pet, but I don't think we were planning on getting a pet, or we wouldn't have gotten one as soon as we did him. But one of our friends at work just had to get rid of him. It's been quite an experience having to deal with a bunch of the things they have to deal with pets. On Wednesday, we actually have to get him groomed because his fur is so long that it's like started to get matted. Either way, wouldn't trade having him for the world. He's just, sometimes he's very high maintenance. My next question is, do you have any tattoos? I actually have 6 tattoos. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've probably seen at least this one. It's my biggest one, and it's, I guess, the most noticeable. So I have this one right here, which is Coraline. If you've never seen it, it's pretty much a kids movie, but it's kind of like a scary kids movie. So I have this one, and I love it just because I love the movie. And I actually do want to add more characters to it, but I've had this tattoo for at least a year, and I've been saying that since I got it. Don't know if or when I'm gonna add to it. I really do eventually want to, because it would just be that much better if I had more characters on it. And then I have this one, which I actually got on Friday the 13th, but it was like one of the custom kind of tattoos. So this one I actually picked out, like I saw it online and I was like, hey, I want to get this. Like, it wasn't one of their flash ones. So then I have this one. This one was also a Friday the 13th. I think all of the ones on this arm are gonna be from Friday the 13th. So this one right here was a flash. It's just a cute little guy. Most of them, besides 2, I guess, are kind of just random tattoos that I was like, oh, I like that. And I have this little ghost. It's also a Friday the 13th. And I have this little lava lamp right here that I often forget about because he's hidden most of the time up here. I have this one. It's just a sun and moon. It's actually for me and my sister. Basically, a little short version of what it means basically is she's the sun and I'm the moon, and basically I'm the moon because I'm more shy and not quite as outgoing as she is, and she's the sun because she's more out there and more outgoing and more, like, I guess, more people friendly than I am. We both have this one tattooed pretty much in the same spot but on different legs. My next question is, where do you live? Currently I'm living in Arizona. That's really all I'm gonna say because that's all you need to know. The next question that I have is, are you dating or married to anyone? So I have mentioned, I think in both videos, that I have a boyfriend. His name is Brett, but I call him Bert just because that's what one of his friends called him, and I just ended up picking it up and now it's my thing. I called him Bert one too many times, and so now we are Bert and Sarah. We're not those people who have pet names, kind of, but like they're kind of funny. I don't know. Me personally, we're both awkward people, so we have to have pet names that aren't super cringy to us, because calling each other baby is like, every couple has their things. My next question, this one my boyfriend gave me, and it's kind of a hard answer. It's like a very out there kind of answer. The next question is, famous person you'd like to meet. Realistically, only like 2 specifically come to mind, but honestly there's like other like famous people out there, like YouTubers or just other like actors and actresses that I would probably not mind meeting. But like I said, it's like a very out there answer. You could pretty much say anyone. But I guess the biggest two like artists that I have in my head currently are just like Billie Eilish and then Suicide Boys. It's a very it's probably a very like cringy and out there answer, but it's just like, otherwise I don't necessarily have anybody else in mind. I actually lied. I thought of one other person that I would really want to meet. It's Jason Kelsey. He's actually retired now, but he was on the Eagles for like, what, 13 years? I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, okay, 13 years. I know I said I'm not like a big football fan just because I don't understand it, but I still know a lot of the players. But anyways, he became my favorite person on the Eagles. And of course, I only got to see him play for like 2 years. Although we did get to see him play in person multiple times, but we also got to see him in Philly last year. So that was I'm just glad I got to see him play at least once in Philly. I enjoyed watching him play. He definitely brought a lot of like comedy, I guess, to the team. The last question that I have is, other places you'd like to visit. I don't necessarily know how to answer this because any other place I think outside of like the US, or just like I guess in the US too, would be really cool to visit, but I'm not sure where. Only really one place comes to mind, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily sure I'd want to visit there. Once I say it, you would probably say, oh yeah, like I know what you're talking about. The only place that necessarily comes to mind is like Australia, just because it's completely different from here, and I'm pretty sure there they have like the pink sand beach. It would be really cool to see at least like once in my life. The reason I'm like hesitant to say that as an answer is because I literally hate bugs. I like despise bugs, and they have so many different like spiders, and they're huge, and I don't mess with spiders especially. And then they also just have like different snakes and stuff. I don't really mess with all that. The only other like place that I think I can think of is Amsterdam. I don't want to be wrong. I think that's where like Anne Frank, I don't know how to say it correctly, but I think that's where like the Anne Frank basement is. I don't know how I just said basement and thought that that was right. My mind like didn't process that I said basement and not attic. I feel like I sound like an idiot, and I don't want to sound like an idiot on the internet. I think that the concentration camps that they went to are also in Amsterdam. Please, like I looked it up a little bit and it sounds like that's what's correct, but at the same time I'm unsure. Plus I don't know how to say what the concentration camp is called, so I didn't want to say it and say it wrong. Just like, instead of getting mad at me and saying like, oh, this dumb bitch, comment down below and please educate me instead of being mean. But anyways, I sound like an idiot. You don't have to tell me because I already know. And then I think that's also where like the concentration camps are. That would just be something that's not cool and good to see, but it would just be like very interesting, and I'm sure it would be very like emotional just because I've never necessarily seen anything like it. It would be kind of interesting to see that in person. Just kind of see like where her and her family stayed. I don't know, might be a stupid answer, but otherwise I can't think of anything else. My answers in this video are gonna be really boring, but I hope that it was at least somewhat entertaining. But yeah, that's pretty much all. Like I said, if you have any other questions about me or my life or kind of how I ended up here, let me know. Comment them down below and I will do my best to kind of make other videos out of them. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys. I love you so much. And so does he. Also, I panicked while like filming this video because I couldn't find him. And so I shook his treats, and guess what? Even though I couldn't find him, he came running. That shows you where his priorities are at.